Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. This is Reading Addict. It's always nice to see you here on this platform. In this video, we will talk about books. As always, mostly I talk about books. Sometimes I talk about something else, different stuff. Try to integrate all aspects of my life on this platform. But there are, a wide area or component of my life which is still not there. I will bring that, area of my life into this platform at a later date, and I'm not sure when I'm ready, when I feel ready. Right now I don't feel ready about that, so we will restrict ourselves to reading only. So guys, I just have finished the Cynic philosophers, these ancient philosophers, starting from Diogenes the dog, and before that Antisthenes, and and what was the Crates and Demosthenes, and some other philosophers. So I read their philosophies. They were a little bit different from each other. So Diogenes was, very famous in his time. So he is the leading philosopher. But it is said that Antisthenes. So these names are so difficult and confusing. Sometimes I get stuck. I normally get stuck, and you can imagine when I come across these names what happens with me. So this Antisthenes, let me read the name, guys. I apologize about that. So now you yourself should try to pronounce this. So this is the name. So it is Antisthenes. Okay, Antisthenes. Okay, I apologize about my mispronunciation. So he was, I believe, the contemporary of Socrates, the great Socrates, one of the most famous persons who ever lived on this earth since the beginning of humanity. So he was the contemporary of Socrates, and he was the first person who went out in the street, who started wearing clock, who folded the clock in double, and who had the satchel, who had the staff, and who had some basic stuff and carried everywhere. So he was the first person. He started this ritual of living like a cynic in the beginning of that period. Later on, Diogenes, because of his speaking ability, because of his piercing or sharp remarks, he became more famous, and it is said that Diogenes is the first founder of Cynic philosophy. So guys, I enjoyed this book a lot. I learned a lot of things, and you can imagine that these Cynic philosophers, they were defending certain things that I can't even name. So they were defending those things that we find inappropriate, that we will consider even obscene. So they were defending and practicing and even promoting such stuff in that time period with vehement force, and they had good arguments. That's the most interesting part, guys, that I liked about their philosophy, especially their arguments and rhetoric, and their way of dealing with people or everyday problem. So cynics were like beggars, you can say that. So they had nothing, they had no property, they didn't have any money, they carried no extra food, I believe, so just a little bit, I would say, in their bowl. And when someone give them money, when they beg, they thank them. When someone deny them money or food, they curse them. And they always use subtle arguments in order to get money or food from the people. So Diogenes always compared himself with Alexander, and Alexander, he kind of insulted Alexander as well. That's so interesting. Like Alexander the Great, who conquered the whole world, almost went as far as India, and then met some interesting gurus, or I would say what should I call them? Interesting, I don't have a word for that. I apologize for that. Maybe gurus, I just know. So interesting book. I would recommend you if you have some interest in philosophy.